Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 4 of Restoring Hope.
Restoring Hope.
And if you're just going to repeat what I say in a creepy voice.
It's creepy. It's the creepy episode.
It is the creepy cottage
voice.
episode.
Yeah.
Just ask Marge. Well, of all the things that we've shown them so far about Hope Farm, we haven't even shown the cottage, the creepy cottage at all, have we?
Cottage.
Have we even mentioned that it was there?
I mentioned the cottage on Instagram the other day, and everybody was like, wait, what?
What cottage?
What cottage? I thought we had mentioned it, but I guess not.
Well, there is a cottage at Hope Farm that used to be a very cute, nice cottage decades ago, I guess.
Decades ago. It was built in the 20s. And when we bought the house, Carter Burns of the Historic Natchez Foundation was like, there's a cottage just right down there. And I walked out into the yard and I was like, where? There's no cottage, Carter. There's not a cottage.
Yeah, you could not even see the cottage. It was so grown up.
I will tell you this. I smelled the cottage before I saw the cottage.
You wouldn't even go in the cottage. Laine, go in the cottage.
I can smell it from here. I'm not going in.
Huh?
You went in.
You're 30 feet from the cottage.
This is as close as I'm getting. I was getting nowhere close to the cottage. Okay?
I ventured in and it was bad, and there were baby kittens that had been given birth to in the bathroom.
And I didn't like kittens before.
Now you have a cat.
And now I have a cat. And turns out I like cat.
Their mama took them somewhere else, and they are living their best cat lives now, I guess. That was months and months ago.
It was. But now I feel really bad. At the time I felt a little bit bad. Now I feel really bad that we didn't take the baby kittens.
Well, I mean, they still needed their mama too. Anyway, who knows? We don't know much about kittens.
We have purchased some very bad properties. I mean, haven't we?
Very bad properties.
But this, by far, takes the cake on the worst.
In fact, Ethel's children had it cleaned out.
Yeah.
And the people that cleaned it out do this all the time.
It's what they do.
And they said that was the worst thing they'd ever cleaned out.
So there you go. And yes, someone was living in it.
Someone was living in it.
Someone was living in it.
Yeah. You want to go see our little beautiful cottage, Laine?
Where we're going to live in approximately 3 months.
Oh, you don't want to move in now?
I mean, she looks moving ready to me. I mean, who doesn't want their toilet on the front porch, right?
Oh, it's tipped over. Dang it. We can't use it now.
We're so busy and constantly on the go. That's why we're so excited to have found Mosh Bars. They're protein bars made for your brain. With 6 delicious flavors, each Mosh Bar contains 12 grams of protein and is made with ingredients that support brain health, like ashwagandha, lion's mane, collagen, and omega-3s. At 160 calories and only 1 gram of sugar, Mosh protein bars are the guilt-free snack your brain and body will crave. Your brain is your #1 tool, which is why Mosh protein bars were mindfully formulated by some of the top neuroscientists and functional nutritionists. Founded by Patrick Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, Mosh is a mission-driven brain health and wellness company that donates a portion of all proceeds to support women's brain research through the Women's Alzheimer's Movement at Cleveland Clinic. I immediately went for the peanut butter bar, and it did not disappoint. I keep one nearby in case I have any dips in energy or in focus. Don't settle for a mediocre snack when you can nourish your body and mind with the fuel it needs to succeed. So, whether you're at the gym, on the go, or just living your best life, Mosh protein bars will keep your brain and body fit, fueled, and feeling good. Head to moshlife.com/restoration to save 20% off plus free shipping on your 6-count trial pack. That's 20% off with free shipping on your 6-count trial pack, which includes all 6 mouthwatering flavors. moshlife.com/restoration.
So there's that.
There you go.
And so what are we going to do with it?
We're going to make it a lovely little cottage. So talk about a transformation. This one's going to be fun.
It's maybe the biggest transformation you've ever seen us do.
It is 15 by 35 right now.
It's a wee little cottage.
And there's not a ton to save. I mean,
there's not a ton to save.
There's not a whole lot
There's a pretty good mantle.
There's some good
That's
wood
it.
inside that's going to be salvageable. A lot of the floor joists were good. Most of the floor joists were good, right?
Most of them.
Most of the foundation actually was even good. The
Most
piers are
of
all
it.
good.
Yeah.
We had to replace 4 seal beam
Uh-huh.
segments.
But we have plans. Per usual.
With the nasty cottage, we have plans.
We have plans. We eventually will sell Pearl. Eventually. That's the plan. And we'll need a place to stay because it's going to take us about 2 years to get Hope Farm livable, we think. Where we're ready to move into it.
That is super long term. So the cottage, we're thinking will take us 5 or 6 or 7 months to get completely done and make it look cute and inhabitable once again.
Yes.
And
we can
then we will live there on the property.
live in it.
Can oversee everything going on, and it's not big, but it'll be enough.
It'll
for
be
us.
fine. It'll be like your first apartment that you had when we were dating. It'll be like old times.
Right.
Very old times.
Seems like old times.
But we're going to turn it into something really darling. We're going to kind of mimic the look of the main house a little bit. On the inside, we think it was built in 26, 28, somewhere around there, and they kind of mimicked the look of the Greek Revival style on the inside when they did it. And so we're going to extend that out. Because it is such a small space, we're going to put a great big front porch on it.
Well, that's the other great thing about this living this far south is that will be a good living space for, I'd say 8 months a year, probably.
Definitely.
And it's very inexpensive way to add a lot of square footage,
Yeah.
putting on a nice porch. Plus, it'll mimic the main house there at Hope Farm as well.
But we're starting out with a massive amount of demolition. So we'll basically be starting with kind of a shell. It'll be all new wiring, all new plumbing. A great deal of the interior will be rebuilt, new roof, and then quite a bit of foundation work.
There was a space. We were going to be occupying the same space. I don't know. This one I wouldn't say was half built. I think it's maybe 30%.
A third built, yeah.
Okay. And plus, we're going to do a knockout off of the kitchen and gain another 70 square feet.
Yeah. For a laundry space. Now, this created a lot of debate because do we put a laundry space in this little cottage or do we go ahead and put it in the main house? And we had almost decided main house it is. But then we realized you basically have to plumb the whole house to get the washer and dryer hooked up there.
You got to have gas, you got to have your water, you've got to have a water heater.
Yes. And so all your
and
water
we
mains.
have none of those right now in the main house. And in the main house, I mean, we've barely just put a dent in the demo that has to happen there.
Yeah.
Been trying to get quotes on a new roof system, and believe me, that has been very difficult to do.
Yeah. Nobody wants to just give us a quote. Nobody wants to give us a quote.
But we're going to get it done. We're talking to some good people that we feel real good about. I think we'll eventually have it built. And
We've got to have a roof on it by winter. Winter
Yeah.
is wet here. We have to have a roof on it by winter.
Yeah.
The worst thing that can happen is that we could get one of those freak Mississippi snows, which there
Ooh.
are actually historic pictures of snow in Mississippi,
Yeah.
so you could find those.
Yeah.
If we got one of those freak Mississippi snows and it landed on that roof that's just sort of precariously balanced on the house and then collapsed, that could be literally catastrophic.
That could be
So
bad.
we have to get a roof on it by winter, by cold season. So
Yeah.
no pressure. No pressure. Oh, look at my little Marge. Look at her. Look at
This
little
is
Marge.
Mayella, so let's talk about who we brought with us
We
this
brought a lot of
time.
helpers this time.
Yeah, we travel with a different crew. If you don't know us very well, we have eight dogs and a cat now. And so we don't travel with all of them every time we travel.
No, we have a nanny
We
who
have a nanny
stays.
who stays with them in Arkansas. This time we brought Mayella, who has a smoker's cough, which she's got a poor collapsed trachea.
She's got a collapsing trachea.
and
so
her
she's
back legs don't work so good,
She's 10 years old.
but she's precious.
She's a little lap baby.
Yeah.
But we call her
and-
Marge because she coughs.
And if your name's Marge, I'm
We
so
apologize,
sorry.
but
didn't-
it just fits.
Hopefully it's not. And we brought Tanky with us,
Yes, Tea-Tie Tangaroo.
who is probably the best dog. He is really good.
So good. His name is Tyler, but Tyler turned into Tank. Tank turned into Tanky. Tank turned into T-Tie Tankaroo, then that turned into
That's all you,
Roo-Roo,
though. I don't
then it
do
turned
that.
into Roonies. So
Roonies.
I call him Roonies or Rooney-Roo, one of those two.
But he is a good boy. And
You changed it from Tyler to Tank.
oh yeah, well yeah, he's a tank. Look at him. We brought the Bean, who is just Mr. Personality. And then we brought our cat, Mr. Bones, who we're thinking about renaming because
Noodle.
he is getting kind of
Bones.
chubby now.
Now he's a chunk. I can make an animal fat. Let me tell you what, I can make an animal
Yes,
fat. I can
and
take a
just look at Tank.
tiny skinny pet and make him chunky.
And we brought the best dog ever there
Bestest,
was,
goodest boy.
Oliver.
Best dog that's
Yay.
ever lived.
Insert
ever.
1,000 photos and
Yes.
videos here
Of the floopsy ears.
of the floopsy ears.
So we've got our
That's
crew
our
with
crew.
us.
That's our crew. Now let's talk about our crew that we've got working over at Hope Farm.
Awesome.
Actually, Laine and I have had no chance really to work at all.
No,
We're just kind of
busy.
overseeing right now because we've been so busy doing other things. Can't wait to kind of get over there and
I
actually do
know.
some work. But right now we've got Mike and Braden over in the L doing demo work and finding treasures.
Yes.
I mean, that place was almost knee deep in what used to be the roof and ceiling.
Yeah, and walls. Really, in the L,
And
the walls
walls.
are fairly collapsed
But
as well.
we're still finding treasures and things that like were unbroken.
Yeah.
The furniture, mantles that are in pristine condition. So we're very encouraged about a lot of that.
Yeah, very exciting.
And those guys are doing a great job. The cottage, we've got Mike and Heath doing a ton of demo over there.
Yes.
And
Creative demolition.
creative demolition. And, you know, if you do demo the right way, then you don't destroy things that you're going to need, right?
Right.
It's good to have an understanding of how things are built when you're doing demo.
Yeah.
And those guys have a real good understanding. They're taking out what is rotten and what is not salvageable and leaving the good stuff.
Yes.
Which there's very little
There's
of.
very little. I'm sitting as you're saying that. I'm sitting here thinking, what are they leaving? Oh yes, those 8 boards that we took down in the living room. They're saving those.
They're saving those.
But other than that, everything is.
Well, we'll talk about some of their challenges. The tub,
Oh,
you know, is a cast iron tub in that little cottage.
Unbelievable.
I'm surprised they even, of course, in the 1920s.
Yeah, 1926,
they had
that's
a
what
tub.
you had.
Yeah, but that thing weighs 1,000,000 pounds, and they
It's-
actually had to drop it out the floor.
It was so heavy. It was sitting on a sill beam, and it cracked the sill beam. We're going to have to go back up under there, put a new pier, and re-support that sill beam. It's not broken. It can be salvaged and stay where it is, but it's going to need some support because there'd been water leaking for so long that all of the joists underneath it were rotted through.
Yeah.
So all of its weight, including any of the water that was going into it, was all resting
Yeah.
right on that beam.
So it was no sacrifice taking out the floor and dropping it through because all of that had to come out anyway.
No, and this is a view that would terrify a lot of people. A lot of people.
Oh no. Oh no, the porch fall down. Actually, it took probably several men a lot of hard work to make that porch fall down. But it's down now.
We're gonna live here, right?
We're gonna live here.
But I mean, we've walked into. But there's still some room left in this room. We've had
Yeah.
rooms where there's less room than this left in
That's
it.
true.
When we're done with demo.
That's true.
Way less.
The kitchen in Florida.
Yes, we were holding it up with strategically placed like 12-foot 2x4s. Once we got all the demo in there done, because the entire floor, including all of the joist, had to come out. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yes, all of the floor, and then we had these like these 12-foot 2x4s that were like crossed on the ground, holding the
Structure
the
so that it-
structure until we got the floor joist rehung. So yeah, that was that. There's plenty of room still left in here.
Well, and the size of it is just feels so manageable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This basically feels
Yeah.
like we're doing a bedroom bathroom
Like, yeah,
remodel.
it's just a couple of rooms, and that's all it is, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we'll end up with a bathroom, kind of almost a separate bedroom space.
Yeah,
But it
a
still
bed
will be
space.
open, a bed space. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a bedroom.
bed space.
A bed space, and then kind of a sitting area.
And that's going to be pretty big, which I think is good. I wanted to keep that all
So it feels spacious.
living space because we do have 9 dogs. We'll have them with us, and that
We only
it's
have
gonna
8
be,
dogs
I mean,
and
I'm
1
sorry.
cat.
I'm sorry. We
That's
have
okay.
8 dogs and 1 cat, and they will be with us. And so we need that space to feel like there's plenty of space in there, and I think that will. Then with a yard and a
we'll
fence.
be encouraging them to play outside quite a bit.
Lots of outside
let's
time.
go outside.
Lots of outside time for the babies.
Yes. And then we'll have a good-sized kitchen, a pretty nice-sized kitchen with a little table.
Don't know that I would.
Okay, not nice-sized.
I
kitchen.
would say we will have a kitchenette. Now it's going to have a stove and a refrigerator and a microwave, but it's
We
it's
just won't have a
definitely
dishwasher is the only thing we
kitchenette
won't
size.
have.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. I can no more than we eat at home. I can wash the dishes.
And we've decided now we are putting a laundry room in
Yes,
there.
we're gonna bump out.
Bump out to put the laundry room.
Yes. Boop.
Stop booping me. We've got our man Tony over there knocking it out. He's the one that's done all of the foundation work so far. We had a lot of rot on the bottom of our siding,
Yes.
of our cladding.
Yes. It's true shiplap cladding. It's not board and batten. It looks like board without the batten, but it's a true shiplap cladding, and there was just rotten at the bottom.
Was just, rotten at the bottom. And so a good way to fix that is to just cut the bottom off and put a new bottom fascia on there, which Tony is also doing. And we've got a drip plate that goes above that to keep our water out.
Looks really nice.
Yeah, and it looks better than it did before, I think.
Oh, yeah, it just gives it more definition, too.
Right,
Definitely
right.
gives it a little more visual interest to the space. It's funny that the guy, we had somebody come over who gave us a quote to do something, and he was like, "You taking all this siding down? Going to put all new siding up?" It just needs to be scraped and painted.
No,
It
looks horrible, but...
That's the thing that really drives me up a flipping wall is people look at something that's dirty and needs a fresh coat of paint, and they think, "Oh, this needs to all be taken down, torn down, started over."
Yeah.
No, it just needs to be scraped and painted, and it's going to be fantastic. You're going to think, "Oh, it's so cute." Yes, it still has value.
You need to learn to appreciate the beautiful wood that makes up the structure of a home. Go under the house, look at the floor joists, and if they're in great shape, if they haven't been eaten by termites, if they haven't rotten, and usually if they haven't rotted, if they aren't rotten.
There you go. So yeah, the places that we had rot, that it was really, really bad, are places that water had been allowed to stand for decades and decades and decades and decades. So we're going to fix all those problems, and it's going to be an absolutely fantastic little space. Like we said, putting the front porch on is going to really give it some depth and dimension and character, and it should be a wonderful, livable space for us while we're getting the main house and the L completed. And then it's going to serve as a short-term vacation rental for people, so you can come stay at the cottage at Hope Farm.
In our darling cottage.
It's going to be so cute. Even though we haven't been able to work, we have taken the time in the evenings to go out and spend some time at Hope Farm. We'd never gone back into the woods. We had no idea what was back there at all, other than trash. We could see there was lots of trash.
We've got 9 acres with this property, and about 4 of it's cleared.
Yeah.
3.5, I don't know.
I don't know.
And then it's like woods.
Yes.
And so we went trudging.
Trudge?
Here we go. We're venturing into the forest at Hope Farm. Look. She got her walking stick.
My boots.
We got our bug spray. You got your boots on.
Of bug spray.
Yeah, you got yourself pretty wet. But we're going into the great unknown. Wish us luck. I need to do like a Blair Witch thing.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. It looks a little thick.
Look, I was feeling really adventurous, and then I saw that, and then I was feeling less adventurous. It's hard to remember that I'm not 10 years old anymore, and I can't just like scuttle down that like it's nothing.
I know.
Which is what I want to do.
I know.
That's not what your stick is for. No, it's supposed to be to make sure there's no sneaky snakes.
I know why you send me in front, to get all the spiders.
Well, yeah, obviously, duh. You say that like that's some kind of revelation you just came to. All right, Kevin, it's the end of the road.
What should we do?
Look at all the butterflies. Sorry, I'm distracted by butterflies.
Here's our first ridge that we've come across. Still not lost. I don't think. We haven't tried to go back yet. Laine, tell them what your fear was when we waded back into this whole 1.5 acres or 2.
We are not at the back yet, and I don't think that it is a ridiculous suggestion.
Tell us what it was.
I thought we should tie sticks to the sticks to the trees.
Sticks to the trees. They've already got sticks.
I think that we should tie strings to the trees so we know how to get out of here once we're in. I mean, we're barely away from the house and I can't see anything.
No, but we know it's that way.
Like, I can hear the main road that way. So, I mean, I guess if nothing else, we just can follow the traffic.
I can still see cars.
I thought, it's 9 acres. We're going to get back in here and we're going to get lost.
No.
I don't want to Hansel and Gretel it.
If I ever get lost in 9 acres, please just bury me where I stand.
Okay.
All right. What'd you find? Uh-oh.
I found a dead thing. I found a dead thing. Look at it.
What is it?
Look at it. Don't know. I think it might be a possum. It's a dead thing.
Like we're going to be in 30 minutes. No. Here's our bayou, back of our property.
Is that the bayou?
I think so.
Are you sure? Or is that just yet another rivulet? The other one had water in it.
Why you want to doubt my bayou-ness?
I apologize. This is definitely our bayou at the back of our property.
And went all the way to the bayou.
We did.
Which is Harding's Bayou, I think is named, right?
Yes, after Lyman Harding, who built Auburn. That land, Auburn's land attaches to Hope Farm's land. So it's Harding's Bayou. We walked all the way back there. It was fabulous. I was afraid of snakes. I was worried that there might be snakes. We knew there'd be spiders. We didn't give a lot of consideration to what else might be in the bayou. Did we, Kevin?
No, not until we got a message from one of our friends saying there's something going on in front of Hope Farm.
Literally
and there's like 3 or 4 police cars right there in front of the driveway. And we were still, I don't know where we were, here probably.
No, we were there. We were sitting on the front porch. We were sitting on the front porch, and she texted me and said, "What is going on?" And I said, "I don't know. We're on the front porch. We didn't hear anything." And you don't want to go, like, you want to go look, right? You see there's 3 police cars blocking the road in front of your house. You want to go look, but you're like, maybe that's a bad idea because somebody might be shooting at somebody else, so maybe we shouldn't do that. So we didn't go. There was no shooting, but what was there, Kevin?
An alligator.
An alligator.
Walking right down the road.
An alligator. You heard that correctly.
Probably not a big alligator. It was a small alligator.
It was a 4-foot alligator.
But, yeah, I'd say it's probably 4 feet, right?
And you know what that can eat? My hand, my foot, my dog. Look at this dog.
That dog little.
That's a bite for a 4-foot alligator. And you know what else I know?
What?
4-foot alligators come from 14-foot alligators.
Yeah.
And 4-foot alligators turn into 14-foot alligators.
Yeah.
So, alligator is all I needed to hear. And we went back and looked where they found the alligator. There is this like divot. The land comes up. It comes up from the road into the front of Hope Farm, and there is this like
an
divot,
animal crossing,
like an animal path that goes from the yard all the way down onto the road. Like something's been crawling up there for a really long time.
Nobody's ever going to come to Hope Farm now.
I may never go to Hope Farm now. And I'm definitely not going to leave these unsupervised at Hope Farm.
Too
so
little.
that happened.
But while we were trudging, I think we trudged one day. Trudged.
We did. We trudged.
And then Brett came.
Our friend Brett Attenberry, who is a
horticulturist?
Horticulturalist.
Is that right?
Horticulturalist, yes. A horticulturalist. Came to tell us what kind of native species we have growing at Hope Farm.
We've got Brett Ottenberry with us today, and he is showing us the native plants that we have around Hope Farm. So we are trudging today through the deep woods.
Yeah.
What?
Some good stuff.
I said to trudge.
Oh.
No, that was good. To trudge.
Have trudged, will have trudge.
And he's pointing out the different plants, and then we immediately forget what they're called and what to do with them.
But I am notating them on my iNaturalist, so we can always get a footprint of where the things are.
And what are we going to try to do with this land, Brett? What are we going to try to get it certified as?
We're going to see if the Mississippi Native Plant Society has a program where they certify properties as native plant habitats, which also goes in hand with wildlife habitats and other sorts of certifications. I know I do it in Louisiana for our groups, but you want to have 75% of native species, and we can do that, and do some invasive species eradication.
Yes.
With glee.
Yes.
And glory as we rip things out. Yeah. And it'll be a wonderful wooded garden here.
Perfect.
And then on our way out, you noticed a really cool tree that's right there by the cottage.
Well, once we cleaned out all of the other brush that you may have noticed at the beginning of the video, and you can actually see that there is a cottage and we kept some of the better trees, we found the most spectacular tree right by the cottage.
Just in an eternal embrace.
Eternal embrace. It's lovely.
Yeah. Are you hugging the tree that's hugging the tree?
It's a group hug. I'm hugging the hugging. I am a tree hugger. It's supposed to be good for your energy.
We, of course, went over to our friend Max, who has a salvage yard here in Natchez.
Well, we started out going over to Max because
Why'd we go looking
I
for?
thought I wanted to try to find vintage porch posts because I wanted to do a swirly curly Q porch
Yeah.
before we decided that we were going to do it more like the main house.
Right.
So we went over there with the intention of finding porch posts. We were
But-
unsuccessful at that.
Yes, but then we saw a mantle that we'd seen months ago. It's been there a while.
I've wanted it for a year or more.
It's a very cool mantle.
It's a super early federal mantle that really I think would look splendid in Hope Farm. It's the right period. It's the right size.
We haven't talked to Mac about buying that from him
We
yet.
haven't.
We should probably
Mac,
mention that.
will you give us a good price on it?
Mac, are you listening? But yeah, we could either put it in the kitchen or in the sitting room.
Yeah, I really want it in the sitting room, I think.
Think so?
So I can look at it all the time because it's beautiful.
But it's large and beautiful.
So beautiful. And
But
so early.
Speaking of other beautiful, we saw mantles and all kinds of things. Our friends Chip and Clara, who are restoring the briars and doing an amazing job
It's
restoring
another
the
Levi
briars.
Weeks home like Auburn is. So it's a really important home.
And they've got several acres out there, and it is a beautiful home. But they had an auction out there.
And we went, and I said, I'm not going to buy a single thing. Not
Because
a
we don't need
single
anything for
thing.
like 2 years.
I don't need anything, period. I don't need anything. I mean,
Well, you'll need a mantle in
anything.
2 years.
for 2 years. Did I get out of there without buying anything? No. Absolutely not.
Of course not.
I should not go. I should know better. I'm an adult. I should know better. But do
Well,
I? No.
It was too interesting. You couldn't pass it up.
Yeah.
You thought it was too cool.
My quirky thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I bought a quirky thing. It was a great price though. Remember when I found the auction estimate, what the other one sold for at auction? I bought it for 1/10 of its price, of
So-
its value.
Sell.
And then there was a sideboard that I wanted for Hope Farm really badly. And my friend Marjorie Feltus, who owns Linden, outbid me on it. And I was so upset. And I thought, Marjorie, I know you have a sideboard in Linden. I've seen it. You don't need that. So
And
the
she
next,
didn't.
No, she didn't. So the next day when we were all loading up, I went to tease her about it and she sold it to me.
She said, yeah, I don't know what I was
don't
going to do
need
with
it.
that. I didn't need that at all. So she sold it to us.
Yeah, so now we have it.
And now it sits, but it will have a home. It has a place.
It has a place. I already know where it's going to go. I'm going to have my friend Adam Gwynn give it a nice French polish, so it's nice and shiny and beautiful again, and it'll have a gorgeous spot there in Hope Farm's dining room eventually.
So I think that's it. That's what's happening at
In the
Hope Farm and at the creepy
cottage.
cottage.
It is really, it's creeptastic, y'all. I'll go in it now, but I will say I don't love it. I don't love it yet. I will love it, but I don't love it yet.
It's going to be so cute, though.
It is going to be
That's
darling.
what the worse it is to begin with, the bigger the transition. So
You're gonna
I'm excited about
love
that.
this transition. This
I'm
may
excited.
be it will definitely be the biggest transition you've seen on this channel so far, and maybe the most spectacular transition we've done because it is such a space that I think everyone else would have looked at and said, yeah, just knock that down.
Yeah.
Knock that down. It has no value. It doesn't add anything to the property. It doesn't have any purpose anymore. Let's just get rid of it. Or maybe use it for storage. And when it falls down, we'll clear it off the lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to turn it back into a functioning, beautiful, contributing structure out there on that property.
Someday you can come stay in it.
We'd love that.
That'd be fun.
We'd love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being with us, guys. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye,
Say
Ella.
bye, Marge.